Good afternoon, chemist. Welcome to week 11. So, in our chat, I have seen that some of us are feeling a little bit stressed, and that is comes with the territory, I guess, of life. And so let's just take a moment to get out some of the things that might be stressing us. Maybe some of us in here have some ideas or thoughts of ways they deal with stress. I will say that my oldest daughter is getting ready to swim in a state meet for high school this weekend. And so she's a little bit on the stressed side. She really enjoys doing art. So she is drawing a lot, and that seems to help her. And music is also a really big thing that she uses. Both of my daughters actually really use music a lot to help them de-stress. They've got different playlists that they make for themselves. Like they have ones of just calming music, one of like pump up music, one of just like I feel really happy. So maybe those are two options that we can explore if you are feeling super stressed about this. Yes, the coronavirus and the government in general has very many people stressed. It is very polarizing, um, generally making you feel like you have to feel one way or the other on the topic, either topic. And it is hard to tune out or turn off what others are saying and do what is comfortable for you and helps you out. Um, so, yeah, ranting to friends is definitely a way to go with that. That's why we have friends, right? It's for when we get stressed to just kind of rant and get it out. I will say that my middle daughter really enjoys journaling. She will journal when she is feeling really overwhelmed. And so she's got, I don't know, maybe 3 or 4 journals, and she's got ones where she likes to write poetry, another one where she just is like writing down her thoughts and trying to get everything out. Um, and I think she's got one, she journals to her dad. Her dad passed away, so she journals to him. So she depends on what mood she's in. So that's another way to deal with stress. Um, Samantha, that's awesome that swimming is your sport too. And we all want to wish Emily the best of luck to her in her figure skating on Friday. Our thoughts and prayers are with you that you do exactly what it is you are hoping you do that day. Sometimes it's good too when you're stressed. For me, when I'm stressed, I make lists of things that I absolutely have to get done and create like a plan to get it done. So that sometimes helps me. That's a little bit more when I'm feeling overwhelmed, and then that overwhelming feeling makes me feel stressed. So that helps me sometimes as well. Um, so that's another idea for us. Does anyone have things that they do that they're willing to share? We have ranting to friends, which again, I definitely have done as well. Paint your nails, absolutely. So much fun, so relaxing to just hone your energy in somewhere else for a little bit. Moses, that's interesting you say that learning an instrument. My middle one has a guitar, and she has an app on her phone that she is learning to play the guitar. So I guess that's another way she definitely deals with stress. I don't know if it's like a stress thing or if it's just like a nice hobby that she's picking up. But when I really talk about it, I guess my middle child definitely has a lot of different skills that she's using. I'm on Mr. Wozniak's on his page for sure. Working out is my biggest way I reduce stress. Is I have to uh, get a workout in, even if it's just going on a walk for 20 minutes or 30 minutes, like a power walk or something, like just to get some physical exertion out. It makes you feel like you got some stress out of yourself. Okay, I will tell her that. I don't know what app she's using, but I'll tell her that. Ultimate guitar tabs. All right. Reading is my oldest daughter does reading a lot too. That's another way she copes with stress is reading, and they both swim, and so that's their big source of exercise for those two. What does TIPP mean? I don't know what that means. These are some really good suggestions that you guys have going on. Oh, I've never heard of that before. I'm gonna try that sometime. Oh, really? Well, look at that. Emily, do you find that it works for you? Okay, I'm definitely going to put that on my list. Not that I necessarily have a ton of anxiety attacks, but I definitely can feel stress and anxiety go hand in hand sometimes. Works better than deep breathing. All right, I'm going to put that on my list. Well, I'm really happy that some of us brought up the fact that we are a little bit on the stressed side for various reasons. It could be the coronavirus, it could be family issues, it could be the government, a whole combination of all three of those. It could be school, it could be sports related, it could be, really anything. And so it's really good to sometimes be able to share out ways in which you manage stress, and sometimes that will help and work for others as well. So I really appreciate you guys being able to open up like that. I will say that deep breathing in an anxiety attack, I usually have people count backwards from 10 and then try to get them like a temperature change, because your brain cannot handle all of those, like trying to concentrate on counting and having an anxiety attack. And sometimes that works. Well, Lucas, I'm so happy that one of your classes is enjoyable to you, and that is a positive and a win-win this semester. Hopefully, next semester maybe you'll get two classes that you mind doing. All right, so I'm going to start us off here. So we've had just this amazing weather up until today, which actually today is not super bad. It's colder than what we're used to the past several days. However, it is very sunny and not very many clouds for us here in the Muskego area. And so that sun shining is just amazing to me. I do really enjoy the sun. And um, I wanted to know what you guys did, or like in your head, or you made it a point to do outside the past couple days, because it's going to be a while now until we get warmer weather again. What was some things that you guys did to really enjoy and soak up that weather before winter really hits us? One of the things that I did was I played outside with my little boy, and I put a picture of him there. Um, he had to put some sunglasses on, and he actually grabbed his sister's sunglasses. And I also put a sunset from my backyard up on there too. Just some beautiful, beautiful sunsets and sunrises the past several weeks. Oh, yes, we'll pray for your cat to come back or the cat to get back to their owner. So in the chat, you can just put what are some things you did to enjoy the weather the past several days. Woo! Abigail was very busy enjoying that weather. A lot of things I probably should have done. Well, not a lot, but one of them would be that deep clean the vehicles. I really should have honed in on that during that warm weather. Yeah, we did do a lot of yard cleanup too. You got to leave the hermit state at some point just to enjoy that weather. Oh, seeing friends is so great. Bonfires, amazing. Went to the park and talked with your cousin. Oh, these are some really awesome things that just really help regenerate, like uh, energize ourselves as we get into the cold here. Yeah, I'm sure the lakes get cold quick. Emily, that sounds amazing. I'm sure the photographing of the nature and some of those hikes was absolutely gorgeous. Like I said, even just the sunrises and the sunsets have been unbelievable in their beauty. All right. So let's get going in our e-session here. It's not going to be terribly long as I just really want to go through what the identifying elements simulation lab is, and then go through the one pager on matter that is due this week. Um, and um, if you are feeling super stressed and overwhelmed, one of the things that you can do with this online school, it's not super ideal, but if you can't get your work in by the end of Friday, you guys always have Saturday and Sunday to get your work in anytime during those points too. And so if you have to spread out your work a little bit longer and take more of the week, please feel free to do that. It might really help you manage your time a bit better in the week, and a lot for you to have some time where you do handle your stress and do some things to relax and de-stress a bit. And so feel free to do that. So let's get into this. All right, so we've been learning a lot about electrons, and we have been learning about how electrons really drive a lot of the trends on the periodic table. So the ability for an element to react with other elements to create chemical reactions and to create different compounds is really a big way in which this periodic table is set up. The amount of energy it takes to remove an electron from an element is one of the trends of the periodic table. We know that non-metals do not like to give up their electrons at all. They would rather get electrons. And so their energy, their ionization energy is extremely high, fluorine being the highest. And the size of elements are also determined quite a bit by the amount of electrons they have and the amount of orbits in which those electrons are needed to have in order to be housed. And these trends set up our periodic table. And this week we're going to look at the electrons and how they set up another, not necessarily trend, but they set up another way for elements to be identified. It's similar to like our fingerprints, where each element has their own kind of fingerprint. We can figure out what element we're looking at based off of certain colors that these electrons will start to give off. And so that is where we really come up with this identifying elements simulation lab. So I'm going to click here, and I'm going to click here. hopefully. Okay, so we're really going to be looking at 4 out of the 8 samples given. Basically, you are going to see certain elements and you're going to know what they are and you're going to look at their coloring that's given off. I'm just going to open this up. So see if I can make this a little bit larger for us. So basically, we're looking at several different properties of these elements, and one of them is density, one of them is melting point, one of them is boiling point, and this other one is called the flame color. So if you were in a chemistry class that was face-to-face, one of the more famous labs that tend to be done is that you get to soak these wooden sticks in an element. And you then put that wooden stick inside of a flame, and that flame will turn different colors. And these flames turn different colors, and each of these colors is unique to that element. And it's basically how the electron is being excited. And when the electron gets excited, it will give off certain colors. This also leads to how we can see these different colors of fireworks. Okay. So we can't necessarily do this lab in person. However, there is a simulation, and this is the simulation of it. So we are going to look at some known elements and see their data as far as density, their flame color, their melting points, and their boiling points. And then what you're asked to do is we've tested 4 out of 8 samples given to us, and you have to let me know what the unknown is. What was the data for this unknown, and then you're simply creating a claim from your initial observation. So I believe the unknown sample to be blank, and then you're just giving us, and let's just see if we can change this here. You're giving us your best guesses of what it could be, and we're asking you to support that evidence from the lab. So we'll ask so let's just make this a little bit more clear. So when we're asking for this reasoning, and let's just say for this reasoning, um, we'll just say you can use bullet points. And what I mean by that is you can do this and just, you could do like 3 bullet points, giving us the 3 things or the 3 pieces of evidence. So, so when you do this unknown here, give us the data that you get. So the density, the flame color, the melting point, the boiling point, create a claim. So I believe this unknown sample to be blank. And then you're going to give us 3 pieces, give 3 pieces of evidence to support your claim. And so that way we are starting to understand this idea of evidence and data, and then they help us come up with our claim. So what kind of example do you want me to give you? So, I mean, here we'll go like this. I'm just going to make one up. Let's see, off the top of my head, I don't even know if I know, but I'll just say like, So I believe the unknown sample to be lithium, and then I'll just bullet point um, does that make sense? I could spell lithium at this point. So that's kind of what I was thinking I would see. Yeah, you might have to do process of elimination just because not all of the data is going to sync up exactly. So you have to figure out this is part of the evidence that you're using. It's like, well, that matches, 3 out of the 4 or 2 out of the 4. So it has to be this one. And so that's really that processing thought is what you're a skill you are practicing. So hopefully, Emily, this works out for you for an example. Are there any other clarifying questions? All right, if not, we're going to move on to the one pager. Are we good? Can we get a thumbs up if everyone feels pretty comfortable with the simulation? All right, awesome. Okay, now for the one pager, this is not your first times doing this. Again, I have a picture example here for you guys. So in this one pager, we're again just using one single sheet of paper, or if we're doing like a Google slide or a Google Doc, you're just like, especially for slides, you're using only one slide of a presentation and to create your one pager. And our one pager, our topic is all about matter. So you can title the title for your one pager. It has to deal with matter. Your border, so like your border that goes around the page, needs to deal with about the term matter. 10-word caption for the diagram must be written below the diagram. So you need you need a large diagram with a border. This diagram should depict something about matter. So for example, you could use anything off the periodic table as matter. Anything that takes up space and volume is considered to be matter. A summary of at least 10 sentences and at least 5 key vocabulary terms need to be utilized. And so I wanted to go through with you guys some of the ideas for the vocabulary too. So let's just start with this. First of all, how you're going to make this. You can do this all by hand. You could use a piece of computer paper, notebook paper, markers, crayons, colored pencils. You can hand draw anything that you need. You could print off pictures or slash a diagram to place that on there. So you can do that way. You can also do things digitally. And there are some more popular digital ways to do it. Adobe Spark is one way. Google Slides is one way. Google Doc is one way. You could do a Google Draw is another way. You can use Google Doc with Google Draw as well. And then there's a program called Canvas, which is a like area where you can make an online or a digital quote unquote poster, which essentially is just a one-page thing. So these are ways in which you can use these are two options in which you can make your one pager. Oh, is it just Canva? So these are ways in which, do you guys have any other ways in which you want me to add as options for making this one pager? There is, I think there's also, I think it's like a 3D Draw, I think is a program. I believe it is free. I don't ever want to suggest something that I don't think is free. You know, Adobe Spark is free. I think 3D Draw is it can go on Microsoft devices, I'm pretty sure. comes on Microsoft. I put that there so people know. 3D Paint, maybe that was one. I really should start my own document on suggestions that when people tell me like, oh, I used this program or this program, I should really keep a document of it. It's called Paint 3D now. There. Okay. So any other ways that you guys have for me to put down as far as how to make a one pager? This really isn't a new concept for you guys, I'm pretty sure, because we've already done one here too. The thing that I wanted to really talk to you guys about too is, so this is on the topic of matter. And so that's really a broad topic. And I want to talk to you guys about vocabulary terms. And so I wanted to make a list of vocabulary terms in which you can utilize when talking about matter. So I will start off. Please feel free if you want to add words that you are thinking of using in the chat. I'll probably finish typing and then I'll have to look back at the chat, but so obviously a vocabulary term can be matter, mass, space, or like a volume, elements, atoms, subatomic particles, and that would be your electrons, neutrons, protons, well, that did not work out at all. I'm not really sure. Sometimes I really do not like Blackboard because it's, all right, we'll fix that later. Oh! Ah! Save it, did it save it? So, or just cut off all of this. Awesome. I don't even really know what's going on with this right now, but well, I'll fix it later too. Y sub stomach. All right, what else do we got here? I'm not really sure why it's doing that. Yeah, Blackboard gets, one of the things that just gets awful about it is that it gets really clunky and it all of a sudden just decides to do its own little thing here like this. And I'm not really even sure why it's doing that, but at least we can get a list here and I can fix it later when we get out of this e-session. Good. So you could do like properties of matter, like density, mass divided by a volume again. So like melting point, and these are you could do the term chemical properties as well. What do you mean, can we take a picture and then edit it? You can use pictures from the web, absolutely. You can, when you use pictures from the internet, you need to be prepared to write sentences underneath it explaining why you're using that and how it connects to the topic of matter. So just be able to do that. Really, when I look at this, like density is a physical property too. You guys think of any other terms in which we can use? And again, I'll fix the formatting once we're out of here. I'm just going to hit submit once and see what it does. Oh, look at that. That's awesome. We'll fix this in a second, but I will. Okay, so you need to pick 5 out of all of these terms that we have here, and really like even like properties of matter, like physical properties, chemical properties, You have density, melting point, boiling point. You can really talk about like chemical properties, and the chemical properties will, connect and tie into trends of the periodic table, remembering like one of the chemical properties is that electrons, like how does it want to give up electrons, take in electrons? Maybe it's a noble gas and it doesn't want any of that. It doesn't interact at all. So this is the summative that we turn in this week. Do you guys have any other clarifying questions about it? Absolutely, you can use other vocabulary terms. I just was looking over the directions this morning and was like, that 5 key vocabulary terms that might be difficult for some people to think of 5. So I wanted to work on that together and get a list of stuff. You're absolutely, matter is a pretty broad topic to talk about. So there's lots of vocabulary terms that can be related to matter. You don't have to just use the ones that are listed. And Moses, you could tell us some of them that you use, and we could put it on the list as well. Any other clarifying questions? You don't need to cite. Let's see how this comes up here. You don't need to cite with the one pager. We've got protons, neutrons, electrons up there. We have atoms, we have elements. It is a very, very broad subject. All right, so if you guys feel pretty confident about what is happening this week, in my mind, it's kind of a light week in that we're not really learning any new content, but we're really applying our content that we have learned already to both of these formatives and the summative. And so if you are feeling pretty confident and good, then Mr. Wozniak and I wish you the best week 11. If you would like to stick around and ask any more clarifying questions, you are more than welcome to do that. But at this point, this is all we have for you guys today. So enjoy week 11, and we'll see you guys next week. Bye, guys.